My name is Tamara Walker. I'm 35 years old, and what happened to me and my family that morning is something I can never forget. It was supposed to be a quiet morning, just like any other, the kind of morning where you open your eyes to the sound of your phone buzzing, still groggy from sleep. I didn't think much of it when it started vibrating on the nightstand at 5:30 a.m. The last thing I expected was a call that would tear my family apart and change my life forever. I thought it was just a spam call or maybe one of those group chats I'd long ignored. I didn't even open my eyes, just slapped the screen and mumbled a quick hello. That's when the voice on the other end froze me in place. It was Bruce, my neighbor, and his words were like ice running through my veins. I think your grandma's sitting outside your gate. At first, I couldn't process it. My mind was still caught in the haze of sleep. Outside? My grandma? What could that possibly mean? I rubbed my eyes trying to focus and he repeated it. She's been sitting there for a while now. She hasn't moved. She has two bags with her, just sitting there on the ground in the cold. The words didn't make sense. My mind raced and a cold wave of panic washed over me. Why was Grandma outside? Why wasn't she in her bed or calling me? Every moment that passed felt like an eternity. I could feel my chest tightening, something inside me telling me that what I was about to discover would shake the foundation of everything I thought I knew about my family. I hung up the phone without a word and rushed outside, heart pounding in my ears. And there she was, my Grandma Lorraine, 75 years old, sitting on the concrete like she was waiting for a bus that would never come. That morning, my world cracked open. What I thought was just an ordinary day turned into the beginning of a journey into the darkest corners of my family's secrets. What I discovered wasn't just about a grandmother abandoned on the cold ground. It was about everything that had been hiding beneath the surface, the lies, the manipulation, the power struggles, things no one ever meant for me to know. This is the story of how I uncovered the truth. The story of how my family's betrayal forced me to confront everything I thought I knew about loyalty, power, and control. And how in the process I discovered the most dangerous secret of all, that once you know the truth, there's no going back. This is not just my story, it's a story that could change how you see the people closest to you. A story that may just force you to ask yourself, what do you truly know about the people you trust the most? The phone vibrates at 5:30 a.m., a faint buzz that at first seems like nothing more than a nuisance. You've heard it 1,000 times before. Late night spam, family group chats you wish they'd mute. Your eyes are closed, your mind tangled in sleep, and yet you know you have to answer. The voice on the other end isn't familiar. Bruce, your neighbor, the words hit you like a cold gust slicing through the fog of sleep. I think your grandma's sitting outside your gate. You blink into the dark, barely registering the meaning, outside in the cold at this hour. But Bruce insists he's seen her, sitting alone on the ground, two bags beside her. The unease begins, creeping in like a shadow. Is this a joke? You ask yourself. Is she really there? When you reach your front door, the cold air greets you sharply. There she is, Grandma Lorraine, 75 years old, sitting motionless on the freezing concrete like a forgotten relic. No cry, no plea for help, just the stillness of someone abandoned, waiting for something that may never come. It doesn't make sense. The chill inside you isn't just the cold air. It's something deeper, a knot in your gut you can't untangle. You grab her, help her inside, trying not to let the weight of her frailty crush your heart. But as you move her, you notice something. A folded piece of paper stuffed into one O. Her suitcases. What is going on? The question lingers unanswered and a feeling gnaws at you. The realization that this isn't an accident, it's a betrayal. Inside, as you try to settle your grandmother in, you feel the heavy weight of the folded paper. It's simple, unmarked, nothing but 4 lines of cold, detached text. Please understand. That's it. No names, no context, just that. The world tilts. Your mind races as you replay the morning's events. This isn't normal. You turn to the security footage. The silence in the house is deafening, but the video doesn't lie. There they are, your parents pulling up at 5 a.m., not with any sign of urgency or remorse, but with practiced indifference. They unload Grandma's bags, set them down beside her, and leave. No knocking, no explanation, nothing. Just cold, calculated abandonment. Why would they do this? And then it hits you. The suppressed memories, the silenced grudges, the quiet manipulations, what's really been happening behind closed doors. Your parents, those people you trusted, just dropped her. Like trash. You can't shake the chill, but it's not just from the air. It's the unease of a truth slowly unraveling, a twisted family history that no one was ever brave enough to confront. The silence in the house feels unbearable now. You pace. You call your father, your mother, but they don't answer. Your calls go ignored, unanswered, each one a loud reminder of their rejection. But then Grandma speaks. I'm sorry for showing up like this tomorrow. I didn't mean to bother you. Her voice, quiet and frail, cracks something inside you. Bother? She's not a bother. She's your grandmother. She raised you, loved you, and gave everything she had. And now she's been left to freeze in the cold. You don't answer her apology. You can't. Your thoughts are still swirling with what you just uncovered. They left her. They couldn't even bring themselves to give her a proper goodbye. The anger grows inside you, but it's a cold, calculating anger, a deep, silent fury that knows exactly where to strike. You know this isn't the end. It's the beginning of something darker, and now you have a decision to make. Will you stay silent, or will you confront the family that betrayed you, that betrayed her? You can't just sit on this knowledge, not after everything you've seen. You grab your phone, your hand shaking, but your resolve is firm. You start digging. The footage from the security cameras doesn't lie, and now it's time to uncover the truth. The past few months, maybe even years, have been filled with secrets, but those secrets are about to be exposed. As you scroll through the footage, you watch your parents' SUV pull away. No tears, no goodbyes, just cold efficiency. That's when the feeling sets in. It's not just neglect, it's something worse. The realization crushes you. Your parents didn't just abandon grandma, they used her. They exploited her for everything they could take, and now when she had nothing left, they tossed her aside. What's worse, they're still lying. The lies are buried deep, hidden under the guise of family loyalty and concern. But you can see it now. The manipulation, the control, the economic power plays disguised as care. They never cared. They cared only about themselves, and so the decision is made. You won't just sit back and accept it. This time you'll fight. You've had enough. The house you grew up in, where you were raised, where you trusted your family, no longer feels like home. It feels like a hollow shell. You and Evan decide to confront your parents. No more games, no more pretending. It's time to face the people who betrayed not just grandma, but you. As you drive to their house, you notice the white moving truck parked out front, the celebration of the new life being started, the family's big change. But inside you know the truth. This isn't celebration, it's a clean break, a cold break. You park up the street, gathering the courage to walk inside. Grandma, frail and broken, walks beside you. She's the one who's been wronged, but it's you, her granddaughter, who's going to do the fighting. The door is unlocked, another sign of their arrogance. You don't knock. You don't have to. This time, you're not asking for permission. You're reclaiming what's yours. The moment you walk in, the tension is palpable. Your father, sitting in his chair with that all too familiar, indifferent look, doesn't even flinch. Your mother, too engrossed in her phone, doesn't acknowledge the storm brewing in the room. They act like nothing has changed. Like grandma's abandonment was just part of the day-to-day. You dumped her at my gate, you say, voice steady. The words land with a sickening weight. Your father doesn't flinch. Right, he replies, flat, unbothered. She's staying with you now, isn't she? What's the problem? The problem? The problem is that they threw her away like an inconvenience, like she didn't matter. Like a piece of trash they didn't need anymore. But now the gloves come off. This isn't just a family squabble. This is the unveiling of years of hidden corruption, of a family whose dark history has been buried under a veil of lies and half-truths. And you're not going to let it slide anymore. You stare them down. You left her outside in the cold, you say, each word sharp, cutting through their indifference. Your mother finally speaks up. We didn't have a choice, she says, her tone defensive. The house is too crowded. We have a baby. But you see through it. This isn't about the house. This is about control. This is about using their power to push someone weaker to the side. You won't let it happen. Not again. The tension builds to a breaking point. Your father's unflinching gaze meets yours. We're not going to be judged for making a hard decision. That's when it happens. Your brother, standing by the hallway, arms crossed, speaks up. He has no idea how much damage he's about to cause. She was making my wife uncomfortable, he says, his voice dripping with entitlement. The noise, the mess, the way she talked about the past. Your world shifts on its axis. They didn't just abandon her. They dehumanized her. The anger inside you is almost too much to contain. But you've learned something in this moment. The cracks in their facade are widening, and now it's time to expose them for what they truly are. This is no longer just about grandma. This is about everything that's been hidden, everything that's been swept under the rug, and you won't let them bury it anymore. You stand there absorbing the weight of your brother's words. She was making my wife uncomfortable. It rings in your ears like a hammer strike. She forgets things, leaves the stove on. They had no problem telling themselves these lies, convincing themselves it was justified, but you see it now. This wasn't about her. This wasn't about her age, her forgetfulness, or her noise. This was about them. The convenience of pushing out the inconvenient. The cold, calculated removal of anyone who could no longer serve their needs. You think leaving your own mother-in-law outside in freezing weather is a favor, you ask, voice cold, every word a needle that pierces their flimsy justifications. But they don't care. They're numb to it, and then it hits you. There. Treatment of grandma isn't an isolated incident. It's a pattern of manipulation, control, and the manipulation of power. These aren't just mistakes. These are deliberate actions. And now it's time for the reckoning. You know, this isn't just about confronting your parents anymore. This is about breaking free from the web they've spun around you, about breaking free from the quiet psychological control they've maintained for so long. It's about standing up and saying no. The words come out harsh, bitter, almost venomous. You've pushed her to the edge, you say, your hands shaking with anger, but you won't let it overtake you. You've drained her, manipulated her, and now when she's no longer useful to you, you toss her aside like garbage. The silence is deafening now. Your father's expression is unreadable. But you know this coldness, this silence. It's the mark of someone who's been in control for too long. You push forward. You can't stop now. Not when you see how deep their corruption runs. You think this is family? This isn't family. It's exploitation. You've built your life on taking, on draining, on using people until they have nothing left to give. Your mother's eyes are cold now, her hands clenched into fists on the table. We did what was best for everyone, she repeats, but there's no conviction in her voice. Only desperation. The mask is slipping, the lies are unraveling, and with every word you speak, every truth you expose, the cracks deepen, you turn to your brother. You just stood by and watched. The accusation hangs in the air, heavy and damning. He shrugs again, nonchalant, as though this is all just a game to him. She was making things difficult, he says. Difficult? You snap, incredulous. She gave everything for you, for this family, and you point at him, voice trembling with anger. You just let it happen. You let her be thrown away like trash, and you're sitting here like it's nothing, but he doesn't care. He shrugs it off like it's a minor inconvenience. And in that moment, you realize something. He doesn't see her as a human being. He sees her as an object, a thing to be discarded when it's no longer useful, and that's when the final piece clicks into place. This isn't just about grandma anymore. It's about you two. This is the system they've set up, the family that's built on lies, manipulation, and control, and you're not going to be part of it anymore. You know what you have to now. It's not just about calling them out. It's about taking control, not just of the situation, but of your own life. You're done with this. We're leaving, you tell Evan, your voice unwavering. We're going to do this right, and we're going to make sure they never do this again. Evan doesn't hesitate. He stands beside you, ready to face whatever comes next. Together, you leave the room, leaving your parents in the silence of their own making, but the weight of it doesn't lift. Not yet. There's more to be done, more secrets to uncover, more lies to expose. The next step is official. The law. You're not letting this slide. Not anymore. You filed the elder abandonment report, shaking with the urgency of it all. You're doing this not just for grandma, but for yourself, for the family you've lost, for the person you're finally becoming. At the police station, the officer behind the desk doesn't waste any time. He's seen it before. The exhaustion in his eyes is the weight of 1,000 cases, but something about your story catches his attention. Something about the coldness, the indifference of your family's actions makes his expression harden. The detective who walks in, graying hair at the temples, eyes sharp as razors, doesn't hesitate either. This doesn't look like just abandonment, he says, looking at Grandma with a calculating gaze. This looks like potential financial exploitation. The words hit you like a slap. It's not just about neglect anymore. It's about something darker, something more sinister. As the detective lays out the case, your stomach churns. She's been financially supporting them, he says, glancing at Grandma, and they removed her without any care plan, notice, or medical consult. That's serious. You swallow hard. The realization hits you like a wave. This wasn't just about Grandma being abandoned. It's about everything. The money, the power, the control they took from her. The weight of it is suffocating. But now, the law is on your side. The pieces are falling into place, and you can feel the trap tightening around your parents. But even as you feel victory begin to settle, something else creeps in. What comes next? What will they do when the truth is out, when the world sees who they really are? Marissa from Adult Protective Services arrives shortly after the detective's call. Her expression hardens as she hears the details. That could have killed her, she says, her voice flat, like it's not even up for debate. The truth is undeniable now. Your parents, your brother, they are exposed, and they can't hide behind their lies any longer. We're escalating this, Marissa says, as if it's already a done deal. And it is. You feel a brief moment of relief, but it doesn't last. The true weight of the situation hasn't fully hit you yet. There's more to come, more unraveling, more people to confront. And this time, it won't be pretty. You and Evan leave the station, your mind racing with possibilities. What will happen next? What will your family do when they see that the game is over? Back at home, Grandma is quiet, but you can see the subtle shifts in her demeanor. She's been carrying this weight for years now. It's finally time to let it go. But the process of letting go isn't simple. It's a brutal, slow release that feels more like cutting ties than finding peace. They'll say, I'm tearing the family apart, Grandma says, almost to herself. You squeeze her hand, determined. They've already done that. And you realize something then. This isn't about punishing your parents. It's about something deeper, something more profound. The healing begins now, not just for Grandma, but for you, for Evan, for everything you've been through. The reckoning has only just begun. And you won't let them walk away from this. Not now. Not ever. The days that follow feel strangely calm, but underneath the surface, there's a storm brewing. Your phone is flooded with messages from your family, your mother, your father, your brother, all claiming to be worried about grandma's well-being. But the words ring hollow now, like a bad script they're forced to recite. You see through them. You know what they're really worried about, their own reputations. The image they've carefully constructed over the years is shattering piece by piece. It's not just about grandma anymore. It's about dismantling the narrative they've created, the control they've used to maintain dominance in your life. And now they're trying to shift the blame back onto you. They want you to be the one who's causing the rift, but you're not buying it. Not anymore. You keep your phone on silent, resisting the urge to respond. This time you're in control. The silence is yours. The power is yours. Every message, every phone call, they don't hold the weight they used to. The lies are exposed, and all that's left is the truth. And the truth is this: you've seen behind the curtain, you know what they are, and you won't let them dictate your life any longer. As the days stretch on, you prepare for the next phase, the inevitable confrontation that will force your family to face the consequences of their actions. You've filed the necessary reports, you've spoken to the detective, to Marissa, to the people who will ensure that your parents' betrayal won't be swept under the rug. But there's something gnawing at you, something unsettling. This is more than just a family dispute. This is about power, how they've controlled, manipulated, and silenced you for years. And now that the truth is out, they're scrambling. They can't stand the idea that their empire of lies is crumbling. The phone calls become more desperate, more frequent. Your parents try to regain control, to impose guilt, to guilt trip you into backing down. But you hold firm. You don't answer. You don't react. You watch as they slowly realize they've lost their grip. And that's when the war becomes real. Everything changes the moment you receive a letter. It's from your parents' lawyer. The words are sharp, accusing. They want to regain control over grandma's finance. They want to reclaim what they lost. It's a move they've made before, a tactic to ensure that any power they relinquish is temporary. But you've already seen through their game. It's a bold move, but it's one that only deepens the divide. They want to challenge you in court, to force you to relinquish control over grandma's estate. They want to take back everything they think is rightfully theirs, to twist the narrative to make you the villain. And for a moment, you consider it. You consider fighting back, pushing through every legal loophole, every argument they've made against you. But then you stop. You remember who you are now. You remember what you've learned. This isn't just about the money. It's about self-mastery. It's about reclaiming the power they've stolen from you. And you know what you must do. This is no longer just about grandma. It's about destroying the chains they've wrapped around your soul. You will fight, but you will do it on your terms. The courtroom feels like a battleground. Your parents sit across from you, their lawyer, a cold, calculated figure who's only there to ensure their interests are protected. But as you sit there, you realize something. This isn't just about winning or losing. This is about making sure they understand that their manipulation will no longer control you. The case unfolds in a blur of accusations, lies, and half-truths. Your lawyer counters every claim, every attempt to paint you as the bad guy. But it's not just the legal facts that matter. It's the weight of the emotional toll they've placed on you. The years of being silenced, of being made to feel small, and slowly the tide begins to turn. The judge sees through their act, their facade starts to crack. But the moment that truly shifts the momentum comes when you bring forward the proof. Financial documents, security footage, medical reports. Everything they tried to hide is laid bare. In that moment, you realize something. You're not just fighting for grandma, you're fighting for yourself. You're finally standing up for the version of you that they tried to bury. The trial ends with a swift ruling. Your parents are found guilty of financial exploitation and elder abandonment. The judge's words ring in your ears as you leave the courtroom. You failed her, and now you'll face the consequences. There's no celebration, there's no victory dance, just a quiet, cold satisfaction that justice has been served. But it's not just justice for grandma, it's justice for you. Your parents are forced to pay restitution. Their rights to manage grandma's estate are stripped away. But the most important thing isn't the financial punishment, it's the finality of it all. They can no longer manipulate, control, or lie their way out of this. As the verdict is read, you look over at grandma. Her face is serene, she's finally free. But so are you. The weeks after the trial feel like a strange new beginning. The weight of what you've just accomplished doesn't sink in right away. There's too much to process, too many emotions tangled up in the fight, in the struggle to break free from the chains that held you and grandma captive for so long. But as time goes on, something changes. You feel lighter. The resentment that once weighed you down begins to dissipate. Your relationships with the people who truly matter grow stronger. And the family you've built with Evan and Grandma becomes the cornerstone of your life. You realize that this wasn't just about standing up for what's right. It was about self-liberation. You've freed yourself from the mental, emotional, and psychological control that your family tried to impose. You've reclaimed your power. And now, nothing can take that away. But there's one final step, one last piece of the puzzle to complete. You know it's time. Grandma hands you an envelope one evening, her hands steady, but her eyes holding something deeper. "Open it when I'm gone," she says quietly, almost as a wisp. The words hang in the air. You take the envelope with trembling hands. Inside, you find legal documents, deeds, and bank statements, and then you see it. The final truth. Grandma had known all along. She had been quietly watching, waiting for the right moment, the small coastal resort she'd secretly owned, the millions of dollars she had accumulated over the years. It was all there, 51 million. The weight of the number is almost too much to comprehend. It's not the money that shocks you, though. It's the realization that this wasn't about the inheritance. It was about power. It was about choice. And now, Grandma has given you the power to make your own decisions. You feel a surge of gratitude for her strength, for her quiet wisdom, and for the first time, you realize that the real inheritance isn't the money. It's the legacy she's left behind. Her ability to see through the lies, to live on her own terms, and to pass that strength on to you. With the weight of the past lifted, you and Evan start anew. The coastal resort becomes your new home, your new beginning. You take things slow, carefully, thoughtfully, just like Grandma taught you. The days pass and the air feels different now. It's filled with possibility. You run the resort with patience and intention, learning to work with the land and the people who come through your doors. And as you stand on the porch at sunset, watching the sky darken, you know that this is just the beginning of something much bigger. You've broken free. You've reclaimed your power. And now you can finally breathe. This is your life, your choice. No one can take that from you. But as the months pass, something begins to settle heavily in your chest. It's not guilt. It's not regret. It's a deeper realization, one that nags at you in the quiet moments when the sun is setting and the ocean breeze brushes your skin. You thought the fight was over, but in the silence, you understand that the battle for your freedom isn't just external. It's internal, too. What happens when you break away from everything you've known, when you shed the roles that others imposed on you, the mask they made you wear? You're free now, but you're not untouched. The power you've claimed feels real, but the weight of it sometimes makes you question everything. The years of manipulation, of power dynamics, they've shaped you in ways you're just starting to see. The family that raised you, your parents, your brother, did they ever really see you? Or were you just another pawn in their game, another player to be controlled? It's easy to blame them, to place the responsibility on their shoulders for everything they did. But the truth is, the choices they made were always theirs. And the choices you make now, those are yours. You don't need their approval anymore. But letting go of the past, truly letting go, is harder than you ever imagined. You wake up one morning with the feeling that something has shifted again. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but it's there. The shadows of the past loom, and you can't help but feel that they're following you. You never expected this journey to be easy. You knew it would cost you, but what you didn't expect was the persistent pull of the past, the whispers that echo in your mind, reminding you of all the things you left behind, the money, the property. It doesn't matter. Not really. What matters is the psychological toll it's taken on you, the years of gaslighting, manipulation, and emotional blackmail. And the hardest part is knowing that even though you've cut the ties, the scars are still there, your parents are silent. Your brother, too, is quiet now, no longer trying to manipulate you into playing the role they wanted you to play. But that silence is just as loud as their words once were. And for a moment, you wonder if you'll ever fully break free from the ties that bind you. This is the true cost of freedom, living with the weight of the past, knowing it can never be fully erased. As you sit quietly by the ocean, watching the waves crash against the shore, you begin to see the ripple effect of everything that has happened. The family you've left behind isn't just your parents and your brother. It's everyone who ever participated in this web of lies, even if they didn't know it. Your friends, your acquaintances, the people who told you everything was fine when it clearly wasn't, they are part of it too. They were all complicit in the game your family played, and now you're the one who's breaking the cycle. You're the one who's changing the narrative. The ripple effect of your actions reaches far beyond your own life. You've set something in motion, a wave of truth that can never be undone. And while that truth brings you peace, it also brings a kind of isolation. Because once you know the truth, once you see what lies beneath the surface, you can't unsee it. The world looks different now. And it's hard to go back to the way things were, to pretend that the past didn't happen, that the truths you've uncovered don't matter. You've awakened. And once you're awake, there's no going back to sleep. You stand at the edge, watching the sunset one last time before the night consumes the sky. The waves crash, a constant reminder of the change you've experienced. You know this moment is fleeting. Everything is. The peace you fought for, the life you've built, it's fragile, but you also know that this is the price of freedom. It's not a gift. It's earned, paid for with blood, sweat, and sacrifice. And now as you look out at the horizon, you realize that the choice you've made, the choice to stand up, to break free, has irrevocably altered the course of your life. It's a choice you'll never be able to undo. And in some ways that terrifies you, but in other ways it frees you. The weight of the past is no longer dragging you down. You've cut those ties, even if it cost you everything you thought you knew. The final choice is yours now. Will you continue to live in the shadows of the past, forever questioning your worth and your place in the world? Or will you forge ahead, knowing that the truth will always be your guiding light? You take a deep breath. It's time to move forward. The past is behind you, and no one, not your parents, not your brother, not anyone, can control you anymore. As you step into your new life, the weight of everything that has happened begins to settle. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself, to justify your actions to anyone. You've made your choices, and those choices are yours to own. The family you left behind, they can stay in the past. You've moved on. But what you've gained is something far more valuable than anything they could have given you. You've gained self-mastery. You've gained the ability to choose your own path, to create a life that is authentic, true, and free from the manipulation of those who thought they could control you. And as you move forward, you realize something profound. The real victory wasn't in winning the fight. It was in embracing the fight. It was in facing the darkness, the lies, and the betrayal, and coming out on the other side stronger, more resilient, and more powerful than you ever thought possible. This is your awakening, and nothing will ever be the same again. The days stretch on, but they no longer feel empty. There's a newfound energy in you, a fire that burns from within, a force you never knew existed. You wake up every morning with purpose, knowing that the choices you make are yours. The future feels open, full of possibility. You no longer feel confined by the expectations of others, the manipulations of family members who thought they had control over you. You're free now, but with that freedom comes responsibility. The responsibility to make choices that are true to who you are, not who they wanted you to be. You feel that power coursing through you every day, knowing that the decisions you make now will shape your future. And the future, for the first time, feels entirely in your hands. The realization settles in like a quiet storm. Freedom, true freedom, has a price. It's not something that's just handed to you. It's something that must be fought for, earned, and protected. But it's worth it. Every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of doubt, it was worth it, because now you know who you are. You know what you're capable of. And no one can take that from you. The world may try to drag you back into its web of lies and manipulation, but you've already broken free. And as you look at your life, you realize that the price of freedom wasn't just the pain. It was the awakening, the understanding that you don't have to play their game anymore. You make the rules now, and that changes everything. What kind of legacy will you leave behind? What will people remember you for? You've already set the wheels in motion for something greater. Your choices, your actions, they've all led to this moment, but now it's time to build, to create, to leave behind a legacy that's true to who you are, a legacy of strength, of resilience, of truth. You won't just survive, you will thrive. And as you walk forward into the future, you realize that the power you've claimed is more than just personal. It's the power to change the world around you, to create a life that's filled with meaning, with purpose, to leave a mark that no one can erase. This is your legacy, and it's only just begun. You begin to understand something more profound as time goes on. The world is governed by unseen forces, forces that shape our lives, our choices, our actions. But now you see them for what they really are. The systems, the structures, the power dynamics that tried to control you, they don't have to control you anymore. You've seen behind the curtain. You felt the weight of manipulation, of psychological control, and you've broken free. The truth is now yours, and with it comes a responsibility to wield your power wisely, but you don't fear it anymore. You understand it, and that makes all the difference. The final truth is this: you are not just a product of your past. You are the creator of your future. Everything you've been through, everything you've learned has led you here to this moment. And now you know that no one can control you. Not your parents, not your brother, not anyone. You are free, you are powerful, you are your own master. And nothing can ever take that away. This is the truth that has changed you forever, the truth that will guide you as you move forward into a life of your own making. And as you walk away from the past, you realize that the future is yours, because you are the one who decides.